Psst, check this out.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Back Channel. In today's episode, I want to talk about something that will happen post being funded when you have venture capitalists and a number of investors on your cap table, but is an important understanding and tactic for leading up to your next fundraise. Now, this may be counterintuitive for some or when people don't quite understand the game, but the advice is around how you manage your existing investors and the things that you need to do, right? I think you've probably heard some of the advice when you do have investors that you should share things with your investors because they can't help you unless they know what's going on. Certainly true. You have to tell them when things are, not going the way you want it or where you need help because they are fully invested to try to help you succeed. So if you're not sharing what's going wrong or where you need help, you're not taking full advantage of the value on your cap table. This advice, however, is a bit counter to that. It's not exactly counter, but it is a different side of the same coin, if you will. Not sure if I'm using that analogy right, but here it is. As you're getting ready to fundraise, before you're fully going into this motion, remember that your existing investors also have to be excited about you. You kind of have to shift gears in certain ways around being fully transparent to get help to a place where you need to start projecting the story that you're going to tell to the next round of capital, to the next set of investors that you talk to, also internally to your company, because your investors need to be excited about you so they start hyping you up to other people. The founders I see that do best in company building and fundraising have a secret weapon. Their secret weapon is a community of people, of experts, of peers in the startup industry that they can ask for help from at any time, guide them through processes like fundraising. I wanted to make that easier for everyone else to have access to by building the Adamant Fundraising program and community. This gives you access to 75 different training videos around the fundraising process to give you that expert starting point around how to actually execute fundraising, and then access to a community where we host live pitch deck teardowns and office hours every week to make sure that you can ask the minute questions on how your deck should be better, how you should reform your strategy, how you should answer investors who are reaching out to you that you don't know how to answer. So if you want to check that out, if you want to get the secret weapon that I think a lot of the best founders have, check out adamantfundraising.com and join us today. Also, investors kind of start spending more time on the companies that are more exciting. You often talk about like investors getting sucked into their worst investments and 80% of their time is spent on the losers within their portfolio. Well, that's because it's like the work that is hard and takes their time and is emotionally taxing. But when they have winners, they love to help those winners. They love to be thought of as some of the motion and some of the jet fuel that makes those winners, even though it's not actually that true. All that being said is as you're getting ready to fundraise, make sure you have exciting information and milestones and stories to share your existing investors. It will be much easier to get them to start acting on your behalf, make introductions, keep thinking about you as they're going around networking with other investors. Remember, I think I've talked about this, but LIFO is how investors process information and deals. It's last in, first out. So the coolest thing within their portfolio that has been shared with them recently is the thing that they'll go to a dinner with other investors and share. So that's the piece of advice. It is the footnote on top of the more common advice, which is, share your problems with investors so they can help. The next thing is, yes, but as you shift gears to getting ready to fundraise, remember, you're kind of convincing them as well. All right. Hopefully this short little bit of information is helpful for some of you who have already raised institutional rounds of capital, already have great cap tables, and are ready to move on to raise your next round of capital from new investors. Until next time, take it easy, and I'll see you on another episode of The Back Channel.